Welcome back, a Fred 2 video, just a sort of general one, just just to put something up, let you know I'm still alive. Car maintenance video. I've been doing a little bit of car maintenance on the old Volvo, and it is old now, and just getting it ready for the summer. So jobs that I did yesterday, out in the freezing cold, and it was actually trying to snow, and we've got this beast from the east storm coming in this week. So, but anyway, going to crack ahead. Replaced the top radiator hose there that developed a bit of a leak. It had been leaking since I'd sort of had the car. There was a very slight kind of little cruddy leak there, and I'd sort of tightened the clip up and it had stopped. And then after the layup this year, I just got it out, and it was leaking again. But I wanted to change the coolant. It had done 5 years, because just before I got the car, about 6 months before, the previous owner was unfortunate enough to put a stone through the radiator, and that meant they had to have, or she had to have, a new radiator fitted at about £500, which was quite expensive. But whoever did it, and it wasn't a Volvo, they fitted or refilled with the yellowy orange coolant, and it's got a green cap on it to let you know that it's the green stuff. So it's always had the wrong coolant in, which I don't think is a major issue. Some people say it is, some people say it's not, but it's always kind of bothered me, that the fact that it's got the wrong coolant in it, what Volvo recommends. So when I knew it was up for doing, I do it every sort of 5 years, I decided to get the proper stuff, which I'll show you. Here it is, concentrated coolant. So this is the sort of green stuff. It's expensive, about 30 quid for the proper gear. So we've replaced that, and I'm hoping that now I put a complete new hose on the thermostat to the radiator there. If I was going to take it off, I was going to replace it, because say the car's old, and it seems to be okay. It doesn't appear to be leaking, but to be sure, what I'm going to try and do is I just want to double check the water pump, but you can't really see it because it's all enclosed in a plastic shielding. But what I've ordered is one of these sort of endoscopy type USB cameras with a light, and I just want to drop it down between the camshafts there, and I just want to check for my peace of mind that the water pump's not been leaking. Now, it shouldn't have been leaking, because when I bought the car, as I say, 5 years ago, I had, as a precaution, I had the cam belt changed, and that looks absolutely fine, and I had the water pump changed. But I don't think, well, no, it wasn't a genuine Volvo water pump, because they're really, really expensive. So they fitted a pattern part, which again wasn't all that happy about, but it was part of the deal when I bought the car. So anyway, that's what I have been doing. And then today, another little job that needs to be done is to change the brake pads. Not that they're worn out, far from it. In fact, I don't know if you can see in there, but there's absolutely loads of meat on the pads. But when I got the car, they did need changing, and I put new pads on, and I also put new front discs, and I used Mintex, which are a slightly softer compound brake pad. I used them on the MR2 to great success, and they really bite nicely. But because this car is an automatic, the brakes tend to sort of slightly squeak when you're doing not at speed, but when you're manoeuvring backwards and forwards, because there's a consistent load on the drive shaft. Then they sort of tend to squeal and squeak, and it's a little bit annoying, especially because I go to work quite early in the morning, and when I sort of park up at my parents' place to get on the old trusty bike, it squeals and squeaks. So I'm going to try. Well, I'm going to fit genuine genuine Volvo pads this time. Just checking at me braided stainless steel pipes there. Always these Goodrich ones. I've always fitted these. I've got these on the Ibiza, and I fitted those to the MR2 as well. And they look to be fine. It's just that they're fit and forget, because obviously when you turn your suspension, parts do rub on the McPherson strut and things like that, and these things are pretty much indestructible. And also they kind of they should increase the feel of the pedal as well, because they're quite sort of high pressure. So that's a little job we're doing today. It's bright and sunny at the moment, but we've got this beast from the east storm coming in, which is going to bring in some snow. One stupid thing, that when I did this garage, when we moved in, and I laid it all out, as you can see, I put all my tools there all nice and neatly on the sort of workbench on the side there. But every time you work on the car, certainly this car, because it's quite big, it takes up so much room in the garage there. I can just about get it into the garage. You can't get to your bloody tools. It's a nightmare. And there's no way I can squeeze down the side, and if I move it across, I've got no work room. But luckily you can get the roof down on this one, and you can climb through, and you have to sort of climb over the back of the car like some kind of, I don't know, sophisticated monkey. Maybe that's what I am. And anyway, I better get on because it's actually started snowing. I'm not going to swing the camera around because it gives too much away about my QTH, and people start giving me map references. People start giving me actual Google Earth references to where I live, which I know where I live. I don't need you to show me, guys. But it's always a little bit worrying. But anyway, let's crack on with the job. I've got to say, although I don't work on cars as much as I used to, I mean, it's just a hobby now. I don't need to do it anymore. I'm in a position that I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford to put stuff in the garage. But I kind of enjoy it as a hobby. But I do say that Volvo, working on the Volvo, everything is quite logical. It's very sort of Swedish, and most jobs that I've done on the car have been relatively easy. You know, everything's accessible, everything is quite solid, everything is quite chunky. When you take things off, you very seldom do you snap a clip or shear a bolt. Everything is kind of certainly built for last. And it's like the calipers. I mean, all you got to do really is undo a metal clip here, this one, which I've already taken off, and then you've got sort of 2 bolts, and that's it, and the whole caliper lifts off, and you just have to support it, because obviously you don't want to put too much strain. We don't put any strain on your brake pipe, and yeah, that's it. So it is very easy to service, which is a good thing, because parts are quite expensive, as you'd expect. You know, you're talking BMW, Mercedes prices, not quite Lexus prices, but you certainly you're up there with the sort of expensive parts. So it is quite good that you don't sort of break anything. You know, I've had this off before when I did it last time. Give it a little bit of a paint. Needs a bit of a clean now. But yeah, quite an easy car to work on, especially all the older Volvos. I'm not sure about the newer ones. I imagine they're just your Euro boxes now. But these sort of older cars that were sort of based on the 850, really, they're pretty, you know, they're pretty solid. Everything, copper brake linings all the way through the car, so they'll never really sort of rust out on you. And everything is certainly built to a high standard. You did sort of pay for it when these were new. I mean, God, these were like 34 grand or something new. But you did get pretty decent quality, which sort of pays for you if you keep a car as long as I do, which is a bit odd because most people get rid of their car every 2 or 3 years now, don't they? Anyway, I'm waffling on. Let me get on with the job. Pry bar is a good tool, even a cheap one like this from eBay, just to loosen up the caliper. You can get a winding tool. Once you get the caliper off, you've got to wind the piston back slightly, but I generally use like a G-clamp. I think the rear ones tend to screw as they self-adjust, whereas the front ones just sort of push in. But yeah, get yourself a pry bar, even a cheap one like this. I've got a couple of these, much better than a screwdriver. Carefully secured by the bungee cord there, so don't put any pressure on the brake pipe. And it may look pretty sort of dirty and crusty, but obviously these brake pads, they've only done about probably, I don't know, 4,000 miles or something. They're in pretty good shape. There's loads of meat on them. Like I say, it's just unfortunate, but they just squeal. So here's the genuine parts. So not really much difference in price. And that's a dog. There's the Mintex one. Well, actually, it's that one, isn't it? If I do it prop, that's the genuine. Quite interesting. It says it's obviously a genuine Volvo part there, made in India. So there you go. That's all done. Hopefully that's going to quieten the brakes down. I've got to do the other side, of course, but I won't do that today. One final little job that I like to do on the car. Now the Volvo, the C70 and the 70 series, in fact the 850 series, has a terrible turning circle, absolutely awful. You have to do like 6 or 7 point turns, and in multi-story car parks, when you turn to go up the up ramp, you can't make it. You have to do a double sort of take, and people look at you like you're a real knob. Well, maybe I am a real knob, but what happens is you're using the full lock a lot, and there's these little blue plastic bump stops here on the bottom of the wishbone, and what tends to happen is you literally wear them away, or you break them off. And then when you do that, when you go onto full lock, you get a terrible groaning sound, which is the this kind of steering sort of end stop here hitting the metal. It sounds awful. It sounds like the car's going to be taken off the road. So what you have to do is periodically just use a little bit of grease. I'm using copper grease, and make sure this is well lubricated, because this does get a lot of use on the old full lock. It's the worst turning circle any car I've ever had. My first car, Triumph Spitfire, for example, you could turn that on a sixpence. Well, it looks like I got finished just in time. Look at the old snow come down. Look at it come down. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at it. So there we go. That's that all done. As I say, got the other side to do. Hopefully that's going to eliminate the squeak that's causing all of the problems. So, I'm going to bring this one to a quick close. Well, not a quick close, it's been going on a bit, isn't it? But just like I say, thanks for watching, of course. And all the usuals. I'm not going to name you all, because I always forget people, and I know I feel really, really bad about it. But I'll just sort of say thanks for Sean. Sean, I noticed you left a comment the other day, so nice to sort of see you're back in the land of the living, leaving comments. And don't be shy, even if you're just going to rip the arse out of me, that's absolutely fine. And Shane as well. Hope you're doing well, Shane. Hope those chest pains are sort of keeping at bay, and you'll be back to work soon. I watch your videos, and I keep an eye on you. Roy, yeah, the missus, she's not doing too bad, Roy. She's getting on with her shoulder, pretty good. She's not doing too bad, mate. And everybody else, of course, Gary and Andy in Canada. I don't know if Dave watches these videos, but Dave's got a bit of a chest infection at the moment. He's not been on the radio. And everybody else that I've forgotten. Tom, I hope you're well, Tom. Nice to see you're back on giving comments. And as I say, everyone else that I've forgotten, I do apologise. I'm terrible for doing that. But going to wrap this one up to a close. Thanks for sticking with it. I know it's been a bit boring, and it's just me mucking about with the car. But it's just for something to put up, really. And just for something for you to watch, let you know I'm still about. Radio videos, of course, will continue on Thread 1 and other crazy stuff that I've ordered on eBay, which I'll do a little video on as well. But as for now, I'd like to say cheers, thank you for watching this. I don't know why you're watching it, but thanks anyway. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe.